Hi students, now the continuation of observer design pattern implementation section we see now. Implementation, what we are implementing, there are several issues related to the implementation of the dependency mechanism. One to many dependency mechanism are discussed in this section. Okay, the first implementation here, mapping subjects to their observers. In the sense, listen carefully, ma'am. The simplest way for a subject to keep track of the observers, it should notify, is to store references to them explicitly in the subject. What the meaning in the sense here? However, such a storage may be too expensive when there are many subjects and few observers. Here, the main one solution is to trade for the time by using an associative lookup. For example, a hash table. A hash table is to maintain the subject to observer mapping. Let us take a subject with no observers, does not incur storage mark. So, other hand, this suitable approach increases the cost, enhance the cost of accessing the observers. This is the meaning of mapping the subjects to their observers. And coming to the second implementation, observing more than one subject. In the sense, observing multiple subject, more than one in the sense multiple. It might make sense in some situations for an observer to depend on more than one subject. For example, what this meaning in the sense, a spreadsheet may depend on more than one data source. So it is very necessary to extend the update interface. In such cases, to let the observer know which subject is sending the notification. So here the subject can simplify, just we need to take some pass itself as a parameter in the update operation, so thereby letting the observer know which subject we examine there. Okay, which subject we examine there. Okay, this is the second implementation section, observing more than one subject. And coming to the third implementation section, that is nothing but who triggers the update. Yes, exactly. Who triggers the update? Here, what the main content related this trigger, in the sense, the subject and its observers rely on the notification mechanism to stay consistent. But what object actually we need to call that notify to trigger the updates? Here are some two options. Listen carefully. First one is nothing but have a state setting operation on object. In the sense, it call notify after they change the subject state. In the sense, what is the advantage of this approach? In the sense, the client don't have to remember to call notify on the particular subject. So the disadvantage is that here several consecutive operations will cause several consecutive updates, and which may be inefficient. Okay, coming to the second option, make clients responsible for calling. In the sense, for calling the notifies at the right time. Here, what is the best advantage? Here is the sense, the client can wait to trigger the updates until after a series of state changes it has been made, whatever, thereby avoiding some needless intermediate updates, whatever it may be. So coming to the disadvantage, the clients have added some responsibilities to trigger the updates. Okay, that make error more, since the clients might forget to call the notify. The clients might forget to call the notify to receive some notifications. Okay. And coming to the fourth implementation section, dangling reference to deleted subjects. In the sense, deleting a subject should not produce produce dangling references. So here they could not produce dangling references in its observers. Here is the one way to avoid dangling reference. Just we need to make the subject notify its observer as it is deleted, so that they can reset their references. Okay, so that they can references they can reset their references. In generally, simply we can say deleting the observers is not an option here. Deleting the observers is not an option, and because other objects may reference them, or we can say, or they may be observing other objects as well. Okay. And coming to the fifth implementation section, that is making sure subject state is self-consistent before notification. In the sense, what does the meaning in the sense? It's very important to make sure that the subject state is self-consistent before we are calling notify, because observers query the subject for its current state, in the course of updating their own state. This self-consistency rule, it is very easy to violate the intention, whatever intention, when the subject subclass operations call inherited operations. For example, the notification we are taking some code sequence is triggered when the subject is an inconsistent state. Okay, it is the concept of just we are making sure subject state is self-consistent before the notification. Coming to the, you can here we seen the sixth implementation, avoiding observer specific update protocols. In the sense, what that meaning? In the sense, we are taking some push and pull models. Just we are implementation of the observer design pattern. Here it oftenly have the subject broadcast. The subject is the broadcast additional information about the change. So here the subject, whatever the subject passes this information as an argument, just we need to update the amount of information. It may vary widely. Okay. And coming to the yet one extreme side, which we call the push model. In the sense, the subject sends observers the detailed information about the particular change, so whether they want it or not. So at the other extreme side, that model will be called as a pull model. In the sense, the subject sends nothing but the most minimal notification. The observer ask for the details explicitly thereafter. Okay, coming the pull model, what it emphasizes in the sense, the subject ignorance of its observers, and whereas the push model assumes the subject knows something about their observers needs. So the push model might make observers less reusable, and because subject classes, just we are making some assumptions about the observer classes that might not always be true. So we can say the pull model may be inefficient because observer classes must want to be changed without help from the subject. Okay, without help from the subject, the observer class must certainly what changed. Okay, and coming to the seventh implementation section, that is nothing but specifying modifications of interest explicitly. In the sense, what we are specifying, just we are modifications of whatever interest explicitly. In the sense, just if you can improve update efficiency by extending the subject's registration interface. Just we need to allow some registering observers only for the specific events of interest. So whenever whenever such an event occur, the subject informs only those observers that have been registered interest in that particular event. So one way we need to support this uses the notion of aspects for the subject object, just we need to register those who are interested in particular events and observers or attached to their subjects whatever we are using there. Okay. And coming to the eighth implementation, that is nothing but encapsulating complex update semantics. In the sense, encapsulating complex update semantics in the sense, whenever the dependency relationship between the subject and the observer is particularly complex. Why? Because of an object that maintains these relationships it might be required. So we call such an object a change manager. What its purpose in the sense, just we need to minimize the work, whatever the work we need to required to make observers reflect a change in their subject. Okay. And for example, if we have to take, if an operation involves changes to several interdependent subjects, you might have to make sure that their observers are notified only after all the subjects have been modified, to avoid notifying observers more than once. Okay, if we have to be taken, some change manager has particularly three responsibilities mainly. It maps, first one, it maps a subject to its observer, and just we need to provide an interface, just we need to handle or maintain this mapping section. So this eliminates whatever the need of the subject, just we need to handle that reference to their particular observers and vice versa. Coming to the second second responsibility, just we need to define a particular update strategies. And coming to the third responsibility, just we need to update all dependent observers. It updates all dependent observers at the request of the particular subject. Okay. Coming here, here the diagram shows that the following diagram depicts a simple change manager, the change manager based implementation of the observer pattern. There are look at the diagram, there are two specialized change managers. First one is a simple change manager and the second one is DAG change manager. Coming to the simple change manager, it's very navy in that it always updates all observers of each subject. In contrast, we can say the DAG change manager, just we need to maintain direct acyclic graphs of dependencies between subjects and their observers. Here a DAG change manager is preferable to a simple change manager. When an observer observes more than one subject, in that case a change in two or more subjects, it might be redundant updates, so here the DAG change manager, to make sure that the observer receives just once the update. So simple change manager is fine when multiple updates are not an big issue. So here the change manager is an instance. Look at the diagram here. The change manager is an instance of the mediator pattern. So in generally there is only one change manager and it is known globally, in the sense entirely. So here the singleton pattern would be useful here. We need to use a singleton design pattern. And coming to the ninth implementation section, that is nothing but combining the subject and observer classes. Here what I mean to define here, in the sense, just we need to define an object here that acts as both as a subject and an observer without multiple inheritance. In the sense, what the meaning, in the sense, if you have to be taken some class libraries written in languages that due to the lack of multiple inheritance, like Smalltalk language especially, generally if you don't define the separate subject and observer classes, but if you need to combine their interfaces in one class, Okay, so let's you define an object that acts as a both subject and an observer without multiple inheritance. For example, in small talk, the subject and observer interfaces, or just we need to define it in the root class object, and just we are making them available to all classes. Okay, this is nothing but combining the subject and observer classes. Coming to the known uses, what are the best real life example in the real world of this pattern observer? Just we need to study the known uses here. The first here we are using some small talk. Model view controller is the best motivation section. We seen some best example, that is nothing but YouTube channel. Okay, here the first best known example of the observer design pattern, model class. Model class, what it plays the role here, it plays the role of a subject, while view is the base class for observer. Okay, and coming to this, to provide a general dependency mechanism by putting the subject and as well as observer interfaces in the parent class. So for all the other classes in the system, we are supposed to provide a general dependency mechanism. Coming to the ET++ think class library, just if you need to provide a general dependency mechanism by putting here subject and observer interfaces in the parent class for all other classes in the system. Okay, and other user interface toolkit that employ this pattern or interviews. In the sense, just we need to define observer and observable for the subject classes, okay, explicitly. And coming to this, one more Andrew, it calls them view and data object. What if we have to be view and what if we have to be seen some data object respectively? Observer and subjects classes are called as view and data object respectively. And coming to the finally UniDraw section, UniDraw splits graphical editor objects into a view, like for objectives and subject apart. Okay, what UniDraw splits graphical editor objects into a view and subject parts. And coming to the what are the related patterns of observer design pattern, mediator is the related pattern to observer, and singleton is also one of the best related pattern to observer design pattern. Coming to the mediator section, we by encapsulating the complex it's a very complex update semantics, the change manager acts as a mediator. The change manager acts as a mediator between a subject and observer. Okay, once again I have to repeat the mediator. Just we need to update the semantics of the complex one unit bulk amount of unit. The change manager acts as a mediator between subject and observer. And coming to the singleton design pattern, it is also one of the related pattern to observer design pattern. Here the change manager may use the singleton pattern. Just we have to make it unique, and it should be accessible globally, This is the observer design pattern. This observer design pattern comes under the concept of behavioral design pattern, object behavioral design pattern. Okay, it is one of the important play role of observer design pattern. It comes under the category of object behavioral design pattern. Until now, thank you, my one and all.